video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways that spirit guides communicate with you and you may not even know it. These are things that once you know changes the whole way you see yourself and who you are as a spiritual being. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of understanding the 3 ways that spirit guides connect to you and are communicating with you, but are ways that a lot of people don't even think of, because normally we think of like a certain type of way that this will happen, or what are even spirit guides, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But there's a lot of comfort in knowing that first off, you are an immortal spiritual being living a temporary human experience. And even though it may appear that you are alone in your life, you actually have guidance every step of the way. You have spirit guides that are connected to you. These spirit guides simply means that they are not currently physical, but they are able to, in a way, see more than you can see in your current life. Because right now, you're perceiving life through the senses, you're perceiving life through the eyes of your ego, and you may shift that from that ego into more of an expanded state. However, in general, we normally identify with our ego. We identify with the experience we're having, and because of that, we end up in a way skewing ourselves from the larger picture. Now, we're not necessarily also supposed to know the past, present, and future of everything that's going to happen to us. However, our spirit guides have a connection to us to where they're able to see further down the road. Spirit guides are able to see probability factors, so maybe where you currently are in your life. And they know that if they help you make a couple, you're going to make the decision because you have free will, but they're going to help you, maybe guide you, that's why it's called spirit guide you to making certain choices that then allow for a new timeline. One little choice you make sometimes can change your timeline quite a bit. So what our spirit guides are they are non-physical entities that we are connected to and that are guiding us through the process of this life experience. And they are always with you, always. That's the thing we can have comfort in as well. They're with you when you're feeling at your lowest low. The thing is when you're at your lowest low, you're not necessarily in the vibrational state normally that can perceive of that guidance. However, you can change your state and get there. However, it's comforting to know that you are always supported. You always have that spirit guide or mini guides with you around your energy field that are helping you in this process that you have in your life. So spirit guides are always with you. They're simply non-physical entities that we can't see. Many times our spirit guides can be many different things. They can be souls that we knew in past lives. Spirit guides can be that of our star family because we're multidimensional beings. We exist here right now, but we also exist in higher states of consciousness and also in different star systems. We didn't incarnate all of our immortal spiritual beingness on just Earth the whole entire time that Earth has been around. We've also been other places, every single person on the planet. But what we call star seeds are people that are just aware of that and that are bringing through that information in this life. And what's happening is we also have a galactic family, and our galactic family may also be part of our spirit guides. It could be that of souls we knew in past lives, in higher dimensions, different aspects of us. It could be our higher selves in many different ways. So these are all options as to what our spirit guides can be. But in general, our spirit guides come from a higher vibration than where we currently are in our physical life. And they come from love, light, and awareness. They are more aware of our life than we consciously are because they are able to see the full spectrum. Now there's a couple different ways that spirit guides will communicate with us. A lot of times you could say the most traditional one is through meditation. Meditation is something that I get into and I'm able to get guidance as to what to do or how to be. That really helps. Even in my life now, the more that I go and I meditate on certain things, the more I find that clarity and I find that way of how to show up in the world. And I know that by allowing it, by focusing on it, it's allowing this information to come through. Because the thing is a lot of times the ego will block the communication coming from our spirit guides because the ego thinks it knows everything and it wants to control everything. But what if you were to surrender and allow your guides to show you certain things, you allow that to actually come through in a much easier way. Now there's 3 things I want to share with you of ways you may not know that your spirit guides are communicating with you. And the first one is that of understanding what are called downloads. Downloads. Now downloads, it sounds kind of like so you think about it almost like the movie Matrix or something where he's getting downloaded a certain program, so he's there like this, he's like, what's his name? Morpheus. I need to learn how to do something like this. He's like, okay, pushes a button, he's like this, and he's downloaded. A little bit different than that, although kind of similar in some ways. A download, so you understand we have an energy field that goes around us, and what can happen is our spirit guides can literally put like a little packet of information, an idea that we may think is our own idea, but it may be a certain type of guided idea. And of course, this is also agreed to at a higher level. So it's not like these beings are infusing us with like control manipulation. It's more so they're able to assist us because they are other aspects of us, or they are in loving communication with us. So something that might happen is there may be some type of download that our spirit guide puts inside of our energy field that then makes us feel an urge to go do something, or gives us a certain creative idea that we write down. It could be many different things like this. This actually happened to me yesterday. It's what inspired this video. And this is going to sound really small. It's going to sound like, bro, why, is that really from your spirit guides? Here's what happened yesterday though. I got these new water filters for this alkaline water machine that I have. And what I do with this machine is it has these 3 different filters, and it took me about 20-30 minutes to put them in. I put them all in, and I then am like, okay, I'm going to fill up my water now. I have a gallon of water that I fill up. And these filters are expensive too. They're about $500, so it's not cheap. And there's a reason I'm telling you that, by the way. So what I did is I put the water there, and then I went and I left the water filling up, and I totally forgot about it. I forgot about it for probably about an hour. So for an hour, I don't know how long exactly it was, but it was a while. For an hour, this water bottle, this gallon of water, is being filled up, and it's just overflowing into a sink, so it's not like it flooded or anything. However, these are brand new filters. You can only have 1,000 gallons go through these filters before I have to buy new ones. And I was inside of my living room doing something, and I had this random idea as to go check out my garage. I felt like going into my garage. Now my laundry room is right here, and you go through my laundry room to get to my garage. And I wanted to go to my garage because I have a sauna in one of my rooms, and I want to put that into the garage because I'm going to have that room be more of a creative type room. So I was like, oh, I wonder if the sauna will fit in there. And what I do is I open up the door, and I hear the water, and I have a water fountain here too, so I didn't hear the water because I thought it was just the water fountain that I have right, you can kind of see it in the corner right here. So what I did is I go in there, I'm like, oh, there it is, and I look at it, 60 gallons have gone through. 60 is a lot. Yeah, that's more than I've ever used at once before, and it can burn out the machine. It's an expensive machine as well, but everything was fine with it. But 60 gallons going through, and it only has a 1,000-gallon limit, so it's almost a tenth of it all in like an hour that I wasn't aware that it was on. And I was just kind of aware then that I just knew that thought to go to the garage wasn't my own, like, I wasn't really interested in where should I figure this out right now. It's 10:30 at night. What should I figure out with the sauna in the room? But I simply knew that it was my guides looking out for me. So my guides had my back, and I was like, thank you. Thank you. Like, I just feel gratitude for things like that. So you'll feel little urges like that, little synchronicities, like I want to go do this. And sometimes those things can be there because then it helps you to understand this process, and it helps you to understand that you're always guided. You know, they were just looking out for me. It's not a small thing, you know, it wasn't a life-shattering thing, or like here's some idea that's going to heal you and transmute this or that, but it was just like, if I would have left that on all night, it would have burned out the machine, and it'd have been a $3,000 machine gone with really expensive filters. So yeah, I feel like those were my guides, or it was my guides that were showing me, hey, go do this, so that you don't have to deal with this later on. And there's been other times as well. I don't know if this is necessarily a spiritual guide type thing, but this is like a synchronicity type thing. I remember back, this is like 3 or 4 years ago, my dad's a firefighter, so he has really good insurance. And up until I was a certain age, I had insurance under my dad. And that insurance was really, really good. So anything that I needed to get done, it was like really cheap copay. It was really easy for me to get done. And at the time, I had a 9-to-5 job working at Nordstrom selling women's shoes, I think. No, I was at Barney's New York. Barney's New York selling women's shoes at that time. And my insurance was about to expire in 2 weeks. And I was like, do I need to get anything done? Not really. All of a sudden, I get this powerful this powerful toothache, and I'm like, why am I getting this toothache? It was so painful, and I couldn't figure out why. But what it was that my wisdom teeth were coming in, and now I'm in my 20s. I'm like 23 years old, and my wisdom tooth is coming through, And as my wisdom teeth are coming through, there's this intense pain in my jaw, and I was able to make an appointment, and literally within the last week of having my insurance, I was able to get my wisdom teeth taken out, and that would have been like $1,000, and at the time $1,000 was a lot because of where I was working, and I wasn't saving my money necessarily, and instead it was like 15 or $50 because of my dad's insurance. So that was another sign to me, even though that was maybe a little bit different because it wasn't like a spirit guide was like, hey, but I feel like certain things are orchestrated so that certain things happen if you're open to it. And I always just trust that process. I was just aware that, dude, what is a synchronicity that my whole life I haven't had to worry about wisdom teeth. I haven't felt it or anything. All of a sudden I start to feel the pain and then I have to go get it fixed. You see? So it's interesting to me how that works, but that's how it works. That's how it works, is we have that guidance, and when we're aware of it, these things happen for us and we can really align with it in a powerful way. So second way that your guides communicate with you is actually in dream state. So in your dream state, when you go to bed at night, set the intention that you connect to your guides. Set the intention you remember your dreams in the morning. You see, your dreams are not actually what's happening when you go to bed at night. They are symbolic representations of a lesson or things that your subconscious mind can absorb. But when you go to bed at night, what you're really doing is you're waking up to higher states of consciousness, and you're going into your astral body, into higher states of consciousness. And when you wake up in the morning, you're going back into your body. And as you go back into your body, there's this little buffer where you get these messages, where you get these downloads, also kind of like downloads. And there's subconscious ways that your brain can understand higher dimensional information. So you may have a dream where something happens, where you find something, or something great happens, or the opposite. And a lot of times that can just be a symbol for something that was happening and something that you can learn from. I get messages all the time from my guides and from my higher self about what is happening in my life, certain themes I'm working through, and something that can help for this as well is to actually have a dream journal. Write up every morning you wake up, write down a little synopsis of your dreams, because that will help you to remember for the next day. You get into the pattern of it, it becomes easier and easier. But understand that your physical mind can't necessarily interpret the higher dimensions, because our mind can only regurgitate old reference experiences and relate it in terms of reference experience. There's no reference experience our brain has for higher dimensional realities the way that we can understand it here. Our physical 3D mind is limited. So we get symbolic representations of what that is via dreams and symbols. So be aware of what that is. Set the intention. When I go to bed at night, I set a grid around my room that brings in protection and love, and I ask for my guides to help me with that process. And then what I do is I go through and just simply know that when I wake up in the morning, I set the intention that I remember my dreams. I set the intention that I remember what I'm working through and how I can best move through everything. And as I wake up in the morning, I remember my dreams. I remember what's happening. And it all has deep meaning, it has deep purpose if you start to do it. Maybe it takes a while to get this momentum, but as you go, you will start to see these things happening. Now, the third way that your spirit guides communicate with you, and you may not even know, is just simply through signs and through having things poke out at you. Having little things come out at you. And you have to trust the feeling when you see this. And the way that you get there is you go more inside of your body, in your gut, and in your heart versus just in your head. And you can do this when you're, it could be that you're at a coffee shop and somebody in front of you is talking about something and the conversation kind of pokes out at you. Well, there may be certain times that your spirit guides kind of tell you to perk up your ears. Listen to this. And as you listen to it, you're like, wow, this is something very powerful. Or this is something I can apply in my own life. Your spirit guides many times will give you some type of signs. Start to use that though. The thing is those signs are meaningless until you start to give them some type of meaning, as in you're looking out for it. So something I would do sometimes is say, give me a sign that this is the right direction. Give me a sign that of what I should do for XYZ. And I'll get certain signs. It'll be like something happens where someone says something to me randomly that they think is that they're just telling me, but I'm like, oh, I see deeper relevance in this. So there's more truth in this than I can see. But you have to, it's almost like intentions. You set more intentions, your life will transform. Set more of those intentions for those signs to come to fruition. Say, I ask for my guides for a sign as to what I could be doing for my passion for a living. And be open. The next 3 weeks, month, whatever, be open to what comes up. And don't be attached to the how, because the spirit guides will bring it in whatever way it's meant to come in. So understand that you are connected. Understand that your spiritual guides are just simply non-physical entities that are connected to you with love, with light. They have the best interests at heart for you. Understand they're giving you downloads in your energy field. They're giving you this level of dreams that are helping you to interpret your reality, and at the same time they're giving you these signs that you can begin to more so understand in your life. So what do you think about spirit guides? Have you communicated with your spirit guides? How do they communicate with you? If you let me know below, I'd love to hear. Also, one of the most powerful meditations I have is on raising your vibrational set point. It will help you to raise your vibration so you can communicate with your guides easier as well. It's your vibration in general, and it's how I raise my vibration from a 3 to a 5 out of 10 to a 7 or 8 out of 10. It will help you to do that. Also, I'm going to be doing more live communities on Instagram. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet and you have questions for me, you can go and follow me right here. I also post twice a day there as well. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that little notification here next to the subscribe button so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.